Hello Mr. Randy Duck and welcome back for another video, and today I've got the tank review in the brand new tier 10 American heavy tech tree tank, the M5Y. Now what I'm going to do is it's a brand new tank. I will just quickly go over some of the statistics and talk about the tank a little bit, and then we'll get into the 4 replays I've got to show you today where we'll expand on what I say. So, as with all of the new line of the American heavy tanks, it doesn't have the same track mechanics a PC has. Instead of having that, it basically has a natural 30% increased repair speed on the tracks as standard and increased hit points on the track. So basically you're not going to get your tracks blown off in one shot, and you don't need to run sort of crew perks like track mechanic because you already have a better version of that built into the tank. You've then got 12 degrees of gun depression, so you're fantastic on the ridge lines. You can use so many, sort of hills in this tank, and you've got a decent turret as well. Like the turret armor is pretty strong, but what you have to bear in mind is the cupola's quite weak, so that is obviously a natural weak point. And just because the natural shape of the turret is quite long, but you have to be careful. You have to be looking straight at your the target, which is where the shells are going to come at you from, because otherwise, if you turn your turret a little, they're going to have a nice easy side shot onto the turret. You've got good mobility. You've got a top speed of 40 kilometers an hour, but it actually gets that top speed pretty well. Like if you help that out with like off-road driving as a crew perk to help with the ground resistance, you're actually fairly mobile in this tank. And you then got 2 gun options, which is quite nice. You basically, the stock gun which you have in this tank is 360 alpha with 269 penetration on your standard APCR rounds with fantastic shell velocity of 1472. You then on your heat shells you got 315 penetration with a shell velocity of 1073, which is not bad for heat shells, to be honest. And with your HE, you got 53 penetration with 440 alpha. And with this gun, with my build, which you will see my crew and equipment set up, as the video goes on, I will show you that. I've got my DPM to about 3,726, which is okay. It's not bad, but like when you compare it to the E5, sort of the other available tech tree American tank, that's got much more DPM. That's on the more like the 4,000s. But what you do have with this tank is you do have like the 12 degrees of gun depression. So with the stock gun, the 360 alpha, you got a reload time in my build of about 5.8 seconds with an accuracy of 0.28 and an aim time of 1.81. Now you also have an option for a second gun which gives you 440 alpha. But you trade off the APCR as standard with AP as standard with a little bit less penetration of 258 and a shell velocity of 1020. You then got the heat shells with only 310 penetration this time, not 315, with a shell velocity of 1120. And then your HGs, you got 60 penetration with 530 alpha. So it's quite nice that you've got the 2 different gun options, although with the 440 alpha gun you do have lower DPM. In my build I've got it down to 3,502, but you also have the benefit that you don't have to peak as much and you can sort of slap tanks a little bit harder. But it's quite nice that you can just have the 2 different guns to what is your preference really. The 440 alpha gun is a little bit less accurate. You've got the accuracy down to 0.29 and the reload to 7.54. In terms of the armour, like as I said, the turret armour is pretty good, as long as you just have to be careful about your cupola and also, make sure you're sort of facing your enemy tanks. The hull is not amazing, but it has got like quite an angle, so you can get some odd ricochets. But what I'm going to do now, I've got 4 replays to get to, 2 in each gun. So let's just get into the replays and we'll just, explain more as the video progresses. Okay, so here we are for the first replay then on highway, where we got 2 enemy fun police and 1 enemy light tank. Now if you want to see the crew and equipment setup I'm using in the tank, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. For the first replay for you today, we are using the 360 alpha gun, which is the gun you come with as stock. And yeah, on highway we're going to, from this spawn, just essentially go to the standard position, this ridge just in front of us, where we can make use of our 12 degrees of gun depression. And yeah, really just, this tank's actually really good on the ridge lines, because you just got that so much gun depression that you can just use, you know, make use of the ridge lines really well. And that is where you want to be playing this tank, you know, wherever possible. But you can see we got our first shot on the light tank, and with the 360 gun, which we're using now, I think it could be my favourite of the two guns, but it's very, very close. But that's just because I really like the lightning shell velocity you have in this tank. It just allows you to hit shots in that light tank, you know, a lot easier. Basically, you need to do a lot less lead, and you get more opportunities to get some shots in. But so far on highway, not a lot's really happened at the moment, which is kind of what often happens on highway. Our friendly team are pushing into the town. I'm not going to push into the town. I'm just going to stay on this ridge at the start, just because I'm going to see if anything gets spotted on the cross, I can get some shots in, and maybe I can get some shots into these mediums on the right. But obviously I've got to be careful, because when I'm turning my turret to look at those, I'm exposing quite a big flat piece of armour for the enemy tanks to shoot at if I do get spotted. But so far I'm not getting lit, and it's kind of been quite a slow start. I don't think the enemy team have sent that much to the town. And it looks like the enemy team are going to start to push across into our base. So I'm going to turn around now to see if I can protect our friendly fun police, or use them to get some damage as the enemy team come in. So I'm going to try and get some shots here on these medium. I think it's about 3 or 4 tanks have got sort of spotted coming this way. So I do need to try and, you know, make my shots count here. I do manage to land a nice shot in the Gorilla 15 as he crosses, and then there's an enemy Avery, and I'm just praying he's not going to hit that shot, and he does thankfully miss. But I have now got the fun police looking at us, and this is not really ideal, but there's nowhere I can really go to be safe from the fun police and damage these enemy tanks, and I need to make, you know, use of this opportunity I've got, this window I've got to get these damage into these tanks. I do manage to put one into medium, but it's on to about 2,000 damage. Missed a kill shot frustratingly, because the enemy fun police is still looking to shoot us. So far we've got away with it though. They haven't really landed, you know, any big shots into us. And this game, although it is quite close at the moment, I guess, so I do want to try and kill this Gorilla, who's a one shot in the base. But if we can kill this Gorilla, I think we've pretty much defended the base, and then we can start moving on to a different location, maybe see if we can help out our tanks in the town. But as that happens, 2 mediums come up, or a heavy tank comes up to our ridge, and we're going to try and punish these tanks here, and we get a nice side shot. And you can see, like I say, these 12 degrees of gun depression, you only have to expose a little bit of your turret armour. The only problem you've got is, because of the shape of the turret, your cupola seems to always be visible, but it is quite a small target to shoot, because you do have a small, you know, width of your turret. But we get a nice shot in, picking up a kill there on that enemy heavy tank, putting us under 3,600 damage and 800 assistance. Get a nice shot into the enemy CS, and now this game is looking pretty confident. I'm pretty confident on getting the win, as long as the enemy fun police doesn't ruin me from the sky there. Trying to get the finishing shot on the Gorilla, but it's not really poking. But we do manage to slap one into that CS, putting us under 4,500 damage and 2 kills with just shy of 900 assistance here. Enemy team are in the cap. You've got 40 seconds. We're going to be able to get the reset. If you look at where our team is, it's just this Gorilla 15 who's on life support here. We're just waiting for the opportunity to shoot him. But there's only 3 tanks remaining now. Gorilla gets taken out. Foch is pushed in. And it's just how much damage can we get before this replay comes to an end. Go for the drivable shot on the Foch. Unfortunately, we completely miss it. But we are going to be able to take him out, putting us onto about 5,400 damage and picking up our 3rd kill. And it's the 2 little piggies, the 2 fun police left. We go for a blind shot, because you never know. At this point, I'm thinking I'm probably not going to get there in time, but you just got to go that way just in case they get spotted in the open. You never know. And one, you know, thankfully for me, an R2 does get spotted. Then, thankfully, our friendly F3005 misses his shot or tracks him, and it allows me to get a 2nd shot in, bringing us to a total of 6,100 damage and just shy of 1,000 assistance there, with 2 kills. And I think we do pick up the 1st class, maybe. Yes, we do get the 1st class and the high caliber. So that's it for replay number 1, but we've got 3 more replays to come. So let's move on to the 2nd replay of the video. Okay, so replay number 2 is here on Murovanka, where we got 1 enemy fun police this time, 1 enemy artillery, and 2 enemy light tanks. So we're going to go and play the field area, we're going to see what's coming, work out from there whether we're going to need to retreat or continue to push down the field. Just see what gets spotted, and, so we've got to kind of work out where the enemy team are playing. I think I've got about 2 tanks or 3 tanks actually coming with us. Our light tanks coming now, which is good. If he can scout ahead, that'd be great. Just give us that early vision so we know what we're dealing with. So far, you only got about 3 tanks been spotted, sort of on their ridge line in the G2 area, and we might actually be able to get some cross shots into those tanks. Actually, our friendly tanks now spotted what looks like almost most of their team on that ridge, so we might be able to squeeze in a few shots there. But this enemy heavy tank has got caught out in the open. Now, he's retreating, which makes me think there's not much down the forest. You can see how many tanks have been spotted on the 1-2. I kind of think this tank might be the only one. So we're going to try and get these shots in. You can see we're using our 12 degrees to be able to get shots over this ridge line. Should have the kill shot if I can land that shot, and we do. Picking up our first kill of the game, putting us into 1,300 damage. Now, at this point, I was thinking about pushing down to the sort of K7 area and getting cross shots of the tanks on the back of the hill, because our friendly medium tank is lighting them. I was kind of in 2 minds. Do I do that, or do I just come back across to try and get shots into the tanks in the middle? Maybe I should have played for the tanks in the middle, but at this point, I'm thinking, right, if I can take sort of map control, we can try and get some shots into these enemy tanks. But as we move in there, the enemy light tank was playing quite aggressively, spots us, and we've got to be a little bit careful that we don't get shot from the tanks on that hill now, as we are detected. So there's an enemy Death Star and an enemy Tusk in the field. Now, so far the enemy fun police is not looking at us, and as long as he's not looking at us, I'm going to try and get some shots in, because I should be able to shoot these TDs on the hill from this position. So I'm poking up. Unfortunately, our friendly bat chat who was lighting these tanks gets shut down, and now it's going to be a little bit awkward with this Tusk running around like that, who's going to keep us detected. And you can see immediately the enemy fun police's indicators going off, and he's looking to get a shot into me. So thankfully he just misses there, but I don't like that position anymore. We're actually losing this game. It's now 9 versus 13. I've got managed to get a kill and a little bit of damage, but I don't like that engagement anymore, because all what's going to happen is the light tank's just going to keep lighting us. Artillery's going to have easy shots at us in that position when we're there, and the enemy team are kind of winning the 1-2 area. So I'm going to try and head back and see if I can get any punish on those enemy tanks. I'm looking for a shot onto the Tusk as I'm relocating. I do connect a shot, but I damage his track, and it looks like he uses it as a repair kit. But I do manage to land a second shot in. And I'd really like to take out that enemy light tank, because obviously it's a vision tank. It's the only light tank the enemy team have, as well as I don't want it sneaking up and derping me in the rear if I can help it. So I would like to kill that tank, but I need to. Got pressing issues with these enemy tanks pushing into the 1-2-3 area. Our friendly team have brought this back though to a 9 versus 9, so it is still a close game, and there's still quite a lot of hit points remaining. So far we've only got about sort of 1,700 damage. We've not had a great game if it ends right now, but there's still lots of opportunity for damage. We do squeeze another shot into that Tusk, putting them onto I guess a 2-shot to us now. Again, looking to try and find a finishing shot. Unfortunately, I ate one off of the medium on the hill there, that enemy Centurion, as I'm trying to get a shot into that Tusk. So I've got to be careful of that. Enemy mouse gets spotted in the middle of the map. I'm going to go for the blind shot there on the Centurion, just in case. Again, got to be careful. I'm sort of thinking, is this enemy fun police going to start looking at us? And it's starting to go in favour of the enemy team here, and it's not really looking great for us at this moment, but it's still very winnable. We're sort of even on hit points. Enemy tank only have a 1 tank advantage, so we've just got to try and do what we can do. We're going to try and move over a little bit, see if we can create an easier angle. You see this Tusk is coming in on our friendly heavy tank. Can see if I can finish him off, but every time I poke the ridge to get a shot in, it's awkward because I'm putting myself at risk of getting shot by that mouse or the Centurion, which was on the hill, and anything else which we can't see yet. Tusk tries to come in behind us though. Thankfully we're alert to that. We put one in and he misses his shell. Going to try and cut him off to see if we can finish off this Tusk here before he escapes, because it looks like he's just going to be a bit of a pest. If we can chase him down and we can finish him off, it is going to make our life easier. So we're poking up trying to catch him off on the escape there, and we are able to finish it off, which is an important kill, putting us on to 2 kills with 2,500 damage. And now our friendly medium tank is getting pushed, but I'm in a good position to cover our medium tank here. And I'm just going to, that's exactly what I'm going to do. This leopard, put a shot onto him as he's leaving, put him onto a potential, well, probably a free shot to us, to be honest. And then we've got the enemy Jag E100, and we've got 3 farms. If our medium can just do his best just to stay alive as much as he can, I will just get as many shots in as possible. We put another shot in, which puts him onto a 1-shot. We will get the kill shot here if we can. Hopefully our medium tank survives, and thankfully he does. Puts us on to about 4,100 damage now with 2 kills, and we're into a 4 versus 5. Enemy team have 15% hit points left, so I think most of the hit points is got to be on this mouse and probably the enemy artillery. Do get a shot into the mouse there with our heat shells, looking for another shot, but the enemy fun police is, as you can see, the indicator's going off and it's looking to shoot us. And our friendly TD up in the sort of a free area is asking for support, and I'm going to try and get over there to see if I can get punishing shots in best I can, because I'm going to leave the mouse for now. The mouse is not going to go anywhere quickly. Can I just get over to try and help our friendly TD in the corner and try and get some damage as they push him, because this game's, it's not looking great for us at the moment. Like I say, I'm letting my teammate know we're on the way, but he is getting pushed by 2 tanks, so he just needs to dig in, stay alive as long as he can. But it's awkward because the second he gets spotted, the enemy fun police is going to look to shoot him. Frustratingly, I missed that shot. I wish I just waited for a second, because it was a 1-shot, and that is going to come back to haunt us as well. So yeah, I should have probably hit that shot. That would have been a big one. And then the E100 just completely matrix us there. Like, it completely stops. We was leading our shot, and then he stopped, obviously, to get a shot into the TD. And I've not really been able to help out our TD at all, to be honest. I've tried, but they've now got into the low ground. And our TD at least gets a big shot in, putting both tanks onto a 1-shot now. But we're in a 2 versus 5. But I do know both, the E100 and that other enemy American heavy tank is on 1-shot, so it would have been really helpful if I'd have killed that enemy American heavy, but that's not the case. And I'm going to turn around now, because I feel like that leopard who was a 1-shot is probably pushing behind us. Also not a 1-shot, it was on about 800 hit points, so I'm going to go and try and deal with them. Like, so far I've still got a lot of hit points left, so I'm still well in this game, albeit it is a 2 versus 5. I just need to try and kill this leopard, who I just think is coming behind me, because we're going to get a bit pincered here. And with the enemy artillery still being in the game, I guess that's probably the biggest problem I've got, because the second I get spotted, you just know he's going to, well, I'm the only tank he can really target. So I'm going to try and get a shot into this mouse. I put another one into him. I'm going to try and farm him out where I can get this damage in. If I can kill him before he gets close to me, will be good. Unfortunately, our friendly T62A goes down, which is not ideal. I could have done with him staying alive, but unfortunately it is what it is. He's got taken out. I'm in a 1 versus 5, but I've got an opportunity for collies. But yeah, the fun police, that's, I say, that's the biggest problem I've got. And the leopard, because the leopard's on a 3-shot to us, or 2-shot. That shot I missed. That would have been really handy if I'd taken him out. Probably would have hit if I'd had APCR loaded, not the heat shell. Leopard's obviously making it hard for us, trying to escape, and I'm constantly getting pounded by the artillery, and I've got tanks just moving in on us. We do put the leopard onto a 1-shot there. Enemy mouse is now coming over. Things aren't looking good for us. We put the mouse onto a 1-shot. Artillery misses us. Can we finish off the mouse? He's going to ram us. He puts us in a 1. We do finish off the mouse, and I'm like, oh, please, can I kill this heavy? He is a 1-shot. I can't move because the mouse is in front of me. And unfortunately, I do kill the heavy, but he kills me at the exact same time, which is a real shame, because I feel like there was an opportunity for our colleagues in that game, and we didn't get it. But, we tried the best. We ended up getting about 6,000 damage, 5 kills, on albeit the did end in a defeat in the end, which is a shame. But that's it for the replays of the small gun. And now we've got 2 replays in the big gun. So let's see you over there for the next replay. Okay, so here we are for replay number 3. Now, we are using the 440 Alpha gun now. And we are here on Severogorsk, where we've got 1 enemy artillery and no enemy light tanks this time. So initially we're going to go to the 1-2 line and try and secure that side first. With it being team destruction and the spawns, I generally find the enemy team don't send that much down the 1-2 line on this spawn. But we want to make sure we win it first anyway, and then we can, make a decision that, do we push or do we turn back? We can make that decision based on what we find. But initially we're going to try and win this side. So we're pushing up here, with our heavy tanks. We should be able to get to this ridge here and try and hold down where we can. And it gets a bit awkward being like a corridor when you get all your tanks sort of bundled up and into each other. But we do get a shot into that enemy Vengeance there, putting them onto a 2-shot because we're using that big gun. And this is where the 440 Alpha is nice, because you do slap tanks. And I guess when you're in a situation where you're in a sort of corridor and you're not always constantly peeking to get shots in, or the enemy tanks aren't presenting shots to you that much, the 440 Alpha is probably better because, like I say, although you have less DPM, you can't always use that DPM. So we're going to try and get a shot in this enemy T-32. Like I say, he's a tier 8 tank and he's the easiest tank for us to kill. At this point we're just going to trade shots for him if we have to, because we just need to get rid of him. But so far we've got kind of lucky that he's bounced off us and we're able to take him out. We've got off to a good start with 2,000 damage with 1 kill. And it's looking like we are going to win this side, but no one's really going to poke around this corner because there was some nasty TDs and we're kind of all getting in each other's way. But it looks like they have run. So I'm going to push forward, just see if we can spot anything here. But the problem we've got is if we don't spot anything to get any shots in, I don't really want to full send it across here, because quite often you could get a tank in like K7 waiting for that and then you'll get farmed on the cross. So what I thought was probably happening is that the enemy team have pushed down the 8-9 line, or at least a lot of the tanks have. So that's my guess anyway. So I'm going to go back this way and see if they are heading across, see if we can catch anything out in the open if they cross over and get some shots in. You don't, once you won a side, you don't always have to just go, right, well, I've won that side, so I'm going to keep going that way. You can just turn around, which is what I'm going to do here. So we're in a position, I haven't really got much vision. I guess it's really me who's spotting. I do spot this enemy heavy tank in the open. Unfortunately, that shot gets absorbed, I guess, in some space armor. And now I'm just praying to set this tank on fire, because everyone knows it is a walking flaming ball, to be honest. So we do get a shot into him, and he's managed to get behind a rock. So he's safe to us, but I don't know if he's necessarily safe to the tanks on the A12. So I'm kind of just waiting. If he reverses back, it looks like he might give us a little shot here. We are picking up a little bit of assistance, but ultimately I kind of need this tank to be destroyed before I can make my decision whether I'm going to move on or not. It gets put onto a 1-shot here. Enemy TD gets spotted in the distance, but I don't have a shot because of destructible cover in the way. And then the enemy heavy tank does reverse out and gets taken out by our friendly artillery, putting us onto 2,500 damage and a tiniest bit of assistance. And it's even Steven so far with 12 kills apiece. I was considering moving up to try and spot, but I can't do that because there's an enemy Avery who's just moved up into the corner. And that's going to make life awkward because, one, it's an Avery and it's, if we expose our side armor, it could do some nasty things to us. But also he's going to spot us when we come round, and there's tanks I know for a fact in sort of the B7A are sword of tracers, and I don't want to get caught into a sort of sniper crossfire. But it looks like our friendly team are going to move in towards this Avery. Our friendly Waffle 100's going in, but as you can see, he's getting shot by tanks in the distance. So I'm kind of hesitant to cross, but also I feel like my team need my support to try and kill this tank. So I'm going to try and get into the low ground and hope my team come with me and we just kill this Avery whilst it's on reload. So we're going to come around and, like I say, I do have shots of the Avery, but now I'm thinking, oh, this is a mistake. The Avery's looking at me. I don't want to eat a big shot, but I've got to go in because I'm getting shot at by the tanks at sort of the A7. Thankfully, the Avery, I don't know if the shot gets absorbed there on my tracks by the looks of it, and he doesn't actually pen us, but my gun gets damaged, which is frustrating. But we're on about 3,000 damage, and at least the Avery's got taken out now. Now, looking to try and finish off that one shot. Don't really have the shot because of the bridge, and it's kind of not looking great for us at the moment. I think a lot of our tanks are just kind of in the A1-2 area. We try and I don't feel like we have a great control of the map, but I guess the enemy team who's pushing down the sort of KJ line, that's what I'm kind of, it's awkward because I'm going to get shot at by those tanks on the right, but also, potentially tanks on the left. So you can see the shots are coming in as I'm poking my turret there. So we're in an awkward situation, but this game is still winnable at the moment. The hit points are in favour of the enemy team, and they do have a tank advantage. But we pick up another spot there, and we're going to try and move in to see if we can find a way to try and win something, try and win a side. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and go up to sort of the B4, 5 buildings and see if we can try and kill that enemy Sturm Tiger P. Now we get a shot in and we put him onto a one shot. Now he's turning to us, which hopefully means he's exposing his armour to the enemy, our friendly team, and he does get shut down by our friendly vigilante there, putting us onto about 3,400 damage with our one kill, and still a close game if 8 versus 9. But artillery's looking to shoot us. I know he can't really, well, I don't think he can hit us here because I think he's in sort of like the BD sort of 8 area or something like that, so he doesn't really have shots. He's probably just holding his marker over me just so I get that indicator. I'm going to try and push forward and try and deal with some of these tanks and try and create an opening, but then we spot a full health Waffle 100, which is not ideal because we've also got a medium tank in our left, and this game is starting to get away from us. I need to try and kill a tank, but I could battle this Waffle 100, but with that medium tank in the left, it's making it awkward for us. Now, I thought I had APCR shell loaded there, and I've just shot a heat shell. I really should be swapping, sorry, AP, not heat. I should really be swapping to my AP rounds because I do not need the heat to pen this tank, and it's just getting absorbed. There's a chance I'd hit his gun and that tank would get absorbed. But I think at the moment I'm just wanting to kill him. Now, I've eaten another shot off him. Now, he is on reload. I think I probably lost too much damage there, and at this point I'm thinking, well, this game's definitely done because this enemy Italian TD is going to finish us off, but it keeps bouncing off us, and that's good news for us. I don't know how he's not killed us yet, but I'm not going to really complain. I'm just going to try and get as much damage in this tank as I can whilst the Waffle was on reload. Like I say, I'm now going to try and finish him off because it's probably coming to that time where he's almost reloaded. Unfortunately, we miss our shell, which is awkward because that's now puts us in a real difficult situation. We get one shot into that enemy TD Panzer wagon. We should finish him off, but it's whether the Italian tank on the left is pushed around, and he has pushed around, and yeah, we end that game with a decent result, 6,500 damage, but yeah, another defeat, unfortunately, but you can't really win them all, so let's just get to the scoreboard and we'll see how this game ends up. Okay, yeah, so we don't get the win. We get 2 kills, 6,500 damage, and yeah, unfortunately, I don't think my team did enough to contribute enough for us to win that game. But that's it for replay number 3, and one final replay to come. Okay, so here we are for the final replay then, here on Kasserine. And this time there is no enemy fun police and 1 enemy light tank. It is team destruction, so we do not have to worry about the cap circle. And as I say, there's no fun police, so we do not have to worry about getting shot down from the sky, which is nice. Now, I guess Kasserine is not a bad map for this tank, just because there's lots of ridge lines, and really any map which has got lots of sort of ridge lines is going to be good, because you can make use of your 12 degrees of gun depression, where this tank is going to excel. So we're going to go and try and play the sort of C sort of free area, as we make our advance, an enemy light tank is played very aggressive, so we are going to try and push up and see if we can get some punishing shots in. If I get an opportunity to kill the light tank, that'd be great, because there is only one enemy light tank on this game, and with it being quite a big map, the light tanks can be quite effective. So we're looking for some side shots, but we've got to be a little bit careful we don't get shot on the side of the turret as it happens. We're able to track the enemy light tank in place. We should get another shot in, putting them on 2 or 1. Unfortunately, we don't roll high enough to finish him off, but we do put him onto a 1 shot. And then this other enemy heavy tank is, I guess he's sort of seen me. He's full sent in, but he's eating a lot of punishment for it from our TDs in the back. And we do put him onto a 1 shot, and hopefully our friendly team can finish him off. And our friendly Yahtzee does oblige and picks up that damage, and we end up getting about 600 assistance, but more importantly, a tier 10 tanks destroyed and enemy light tanks on a 1 here. Looking for the finish, we do collect and we kill that enemy light tank. So that is good news for us, but most of our team are actually playing the other side of the map. And it looks like quite a few of the enemy team are playing this side. So got to be a little bit careful, but we do have some support behind us. But this is where you get into a little bit of a problem with the sort of type of turret it is. And I'm looking to try and get shots into that TD on the right here. But the problem I've got is, you're exposing a lot of your turret armour then to the tanks on the left. But the tanks on the left looked like it was only a tier 8, but now 2 more tanks have appeared. A type 4 there on the left. Like I say, we again try and squeeze in a shot into the whole of that enemy TD. Unfortunately, we don't pen it. We're going to swap to the heat, so we're probably going to need it for his superstructure with the angles he's at. But unfortunately, we're now getting shot in, in the side of the turret there. We actually lose our gunner there, do we? Or was that our commander? I think it was our gunner. And we lose a lot of hit points there. We get put onto 800 hit points, which is far from ideal, because I'm now low enough for the enemy team, if they want to, could push us. Because I guess we've got 2 tanks covering us, but I don't know if that would really be enough to stop me dying. So I'm kind of conscious of that, to be honest, but also I don't want to completely leave, because I feel like if I leave, our tanks behind us are probably going to end up dying. So I'm staying for as long as I possibly can. I've got about 2,600 damage, 800 assistance, trying to keep these tanks spotted, but I eat another one, and yeah, this is not looking great. On 600 hit points, our team is winning at least. And hopefully our tanks win that side quickly, and then they collapse in, and we can try and kill these tanks before they end up pushing me. Going to try and squeeze one into that TD in the right. I do, and then this enemy E6 is crossing to try and get shots in, but he does get punished by my tanks who are covering me, and I've managed to land one myself, putting him onto a 1 shot there. Put us onto 3,500 damage, and he's safe to us at the moment, but obviously because we got the 440 alpha, if he does poke out or reverse too much, we should be able to finish him off, as long as we don't low roll. So I'm looking to try and just hoping he makes a mistake, essentially, hoping he pulls back a little bit and allows us to get that shot in, because I need him to die, because the problem is every time I poke, I can't really poke with him being there, because he's going to be able to get shots into me. Our friendly team do land one, hoping he might panic a little bit now he's getting penned and give us that shot. I have to be a little bit patient and wait for that shot. I do get one into T32. E6 looks like he's going to try and get a shot into us now, or maybe not. But yeah, I wish I wasn't on reload then. I could have probably finished them off. But our team is winning. It's 12 versus 8. We're on about 4,000 damage, just shy of 1,600 odd assistance. And now I'm going to try and squeeze in a shot on E6. He does back up enough for us to get that kill. And yeah, I'm kind of been in this position pretty much all the game, but I've not really had a need to move. Unfortunately, I get sort of HE there, and I'm frustrated I didn't pen the enemy type 4. But yeah, I need my team to move in, really. I haven't got the hit points to take another shot, so I've got to wait for our team to move in, and then maybe we can farm a little bit of damage at the end once we've got a little bit of support and these enemy tanks are kind of trapped a little bit. I'm going to try and squeeze in a shot into the 60 TP. Never really going to happen, to be honest, but I thought I'd just chance it. And I'm thinking, can I just get into this dip in front? Because if I don't go now, I'm never going to get any more damage out of this game. This game's basically done. But yeah, like I said, this mouse buggy could come around the corner and finish us, but if we don't move, we're not going to get any damage at this point. So we do get a shot, and we actually set that 60 TP on fire, which is great, which should put us on about 5,000 damage. And there's only 2 tanks remaining. This mousemaker's got the most health here. We put a shot into him. Hopefully we can get another one in before he gets taken out, which would be good. Put us just on to the 6,000 damage if we do. And we do land that shot, and that brings us then to the game and the end of the video. So we don't have any mega amazing games, but I just wanted to get this replay out. I would have got it out a little bit quicker, but I've been at the Tank Fest Museum, so I've only really just had the chance to play it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll probably go through back now, because I've still got to get a video out in the tier 9 and the tier 8 and the tier 7, so I will go back and do that. But yeah, here you go. As always, thanks for your amazing support, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight! Hadouken!